Hello, I am Ellie, and today I am speaking about how I came to be someone who was able to let go of anxious attachment, because this is not just something that we wake up one day and we can let go of. It is a path, a journey, and it is a difficult one. It requires devotion to self, devotion to love, to true love, devotion to awareness. It involves us having the willingness to really take a look at ourselves, a hard look at ourselves. So I'm going to go into what has been my journey to hopefully light a path for you if you are someone who is aware now that you have an anxious attachment and you want to let that go. So before I do, I just want to speak about how empowered I am now that I have let go of this anxious attachment. It is so beautiful. I am so empowered because now that I am love, I feel love, I have instant access to love at any time. I no longer need to grasp onto love outside of me. So I do not need a relationship. This is empowering because it gives me this freedom to be very cautious, very specific in what I am looking for. I do not have to accept and will not accept things that are not going to meet me in a way that I want to be met. I have this power of discernment. There's no more limerence here where I am projecting onto partners what I wish they would be. I am able now, through this letting go of anxious attachment, to be really rooted in reality and in truth and in discernment, to know what is not for me, what is for me, and to just be at ease when I come into contact with something that is not going to be in alignment for me, not going to feed life-giving energy into me, not going to meet me in the way that I know I am worthy of being met, and just to be a match for me. So when it comes to love, so it's a very empowering place. It feels very free. I am no longer in a prison where I just really need love, and so I'm grasping on and looking and searching and seeking for it outside of me. So it is really a beautiful place of empowerment. And so this is encouragement for you if you are on a similar path and you are wanting to let go of your own anxious attachment or even avoidant attachment. So anxious attachment, desperately grasping outside of love. Avoidant attachment is blocking out love. So it is very beautiful to come back to center with yourself, to come home to yourself, and to let go of these attachments. Learn behaviors, how to interact with others, how to give and receive love. It's very, very empowering. Okay. So for me, it's been a long journey of letting go of attachment, and it started, and it will have to start with you the same way. So some things will be necessary for all letting go of attachment, and some things may just be my specific path, things that happen to me, not necessarily the same for you. So my path started out with devotion to self, with coming to know the depth of myself. I had a spiritual awakening and a rapid dissolving of identity in a really painful, powerful way. And so through this awakening, through this deep level 10 physical and emotional pain from the experiences I was experiencing in my life, I was forced to go in a big way, in silence, and to discover self. And so through this process, I became very dedicated to knowing self, to coming to know self. And so my process, because I am a seeker, a studier, I started to study as much as I can, spiritually, energetically, psychologically. I started to learn from as many teachers as I could. And one of the first things I learned was the power of tapping into the energy of love. And so I would go into these deep meditations every single day, and I would just evoke love and just immerse myself in the energy of love. And it didn't have to be directed in any way, and it wasn't for me. In those meditations, it was just to connect with love itself. And so that was my beginning process. I also was really practicing grounding, connecting to nature, bare feet, looking at the sky, really learning the art of gratitude, because up until this point I had been very focused, like many of us, on what is going wrong, what do I want to improve, what is not going right, just really seeing I was on a mental loop, a mental pattern, which had a lot of strength, a lot of momentum to be seeking and seeing and hearing the things that made me unhappy instead of the things that made me happy and brought me peace and all of the good things. So I started to switch my mindset to see the good all around me, especially the beauty around me, just in the simple nature, sky, grass, a flower, feeling the warmth of the sun on my skin. So just starting to practice gratitude, and then also at the same time becoming aware of my thoughts, learning that I was not my thoughts, I was receiving my thoughts, and to make that difference between the ego and me, and start to work with that part of myself to start to change the cruel, very unloving voice in my mind, the ego, to a very loving, playful, humorous voice. So I began to work with my ego. So I did this. I also at the same time was learning about relationships. I knew that I always was a relationship person. I love to be in relationships. And so really learning about relationships, what is a healthy relationship. I came to quickly understand that I did not know what a healthy relationship was. I had no example of this growing up or in my life, always witnessing very chaotic, abusive, toxic relationships. So I had developed a lot of toxic patterns myself, and also a lot of toxic beliefs about what love was, what healthy relationships were. So I realized awareness that I did not know, and so I needed to start from the ground up to learn what is a healthy relationship, what is not healthy. And that journey has still really just came to a close for me just recently. So through this dissolving of anxious attachment, so much awareness has come in. So that was the first start of my journey. And then so continuing on, I continued just to do all of those things I was telling you. Very dedicated, very devoted to self, to know self, to love self, to become aware of beliefs, thought patterns, to just become aware, right? To become more in alignment with right path for me, what is going to be life-giving for me. And so after spending almost 4 years alone, really doing deep work, healing inner child, all the things I've been talking about, I met my last partner, Sam, and we started pretty quickly into a very serious, committed relationship. And so at some point during this relationship, I realized, like, wow, the conflict is so strong, so big. I need to understand this. I don't understand it. Why is this happening? Why? I'm a seeker, always seeking to have more awareness, more understanding. And so I found out that actually I had an anxious attachment style, and that my partner had an avoidant attachment style. Very common for these people to come together. And so at the time I did not realize how serious this was impacting every aspect of my life, including every cell in my body, all of my energy, all being affected by this attachment. And so I kind of put it off to the side, but conflict kept arising, increasing in severity and frequency, so much deep pain. And so I said, okay, I need to understand. And so I came through studying anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, to know just how powerfully this was the driving force of my life when it came to all the relationships. And with life, all of relationship, we have a relationship with all of life, but in particular, my romantic relationships were just being so impacted by this attachment, and even more importantly, the relationship I had to myself, to what I believed I was worthy of, capable of, was all being impacted by this anxious attachment. So I decided I want to let it go. So I just continued to do all of the things I'm telling you, studying all my practices, connecting to love, meditating, connecting to greater awareness, and I had an experience in ayahuasca that showed me the pain. And then in my relationship, the pain, the conflict just kept on escalating into where I can no longer ignore this. Something is wrong. And so I just want to say, as a side note, if you are in a relationship and you are experiencing deep pain continuously, there is something wrong. And what's beautiful here to know is it does not even matter what is wrong. It does not matter the why. What's important is pay attention to your inner love light, your inner flame, as some people call it, some teachers. If your inner flame is continuously going down in a relationship and you come to these like deep cycles of pain and you know, maybe you can't even function, you're in so much pain, something is wrong. And it doesn't matter what that is. What you are receiving right now is guidance that you need a change of your environment. And again, the why, the reasoning, not important. What is important is your inner light. You are the guardian protector of your own inner light. So if you find yourself in a relationship where your inner light, your inner flame is being dimmed, there is something wrong. And you, as the guardian protector of your own inner light, it is you who needs to do something to remove yourself from this environment and to know that you are worthy of your inner light being protected and that no one can do this but you. So you have a great responsibility to yourself, and do not focus so much on the why and the what will happen. So many fears that come up. Oh, I cannot leave. Okay, your inner light is the most important thing. Okay, so I just want to say that because oftentimes, you know, there's just mixed guidance out there. Is this abusive? Is this not? Is it toxic? This is the only thing you need to know. Is your inner light going out? Okay, something is wrong. Very wrong. Very, very wrong. Okay, so continuing on. So what was beautiful for me, and so this is where our paths could change, maybe not same path for you, but the relationship that I was in was a very attacking energy, very angry energy, frustrated energy, frequently very serious energy. And in conflict, it would come to me like to support the belief, the deep-seated belief that I had and that you have if you are anxiously attached. And that is that there is something inherently wrong with me, not good enough about me, not worthy, that I am not lovable. Very painful belief you take on when you have anxious attachment. It is not your fault. I talk about this before. It's simply the ego mind having to make a decision to make what has happened in your childhood environment mean something. The ego needs everything to mean something. So simply all that has happened was that you decided that whatever was happening in your childhood experience was in fact because you were unlovable, something inherently wrong with you. If you were avoiding it was others' faults. So also comes with painful path. So for me, in my partnership, with this energy coming like you, this is what I felt, you, why are you? Okay, and so because I am a seeker and on a path to self-awareness, to come to know self, I surrendered to painfully in that moment, in those moments, that okay, there's something wrong with me. I am wrong, inherently wrong. I am not being loved because I am unlovable. So I would go in and say, okay, why? Why am I unlovable? Why is there something wrong with me? What am I doing? And I took full responsibility and the willingness to see myself exactly the way I was, to take ownership for anything I was doing, my parts. And as I kept going in to meet myself and to look, I actually discovered the opposite. That actually there is nothing inherently wrong with me. I am beautiful, loving, radiant, feminine, love light woman, and I have great love to offer. I am open to give and receive love in the purest form, and that is beautiful. Also, I am willing to look at self, to take responsibility for my actions. I do not believe I am without mistake or error. I am human, and I accept my humanness, recognize it. And so it's very easy for me to take a hard look at myself. And so because of all this, these perfect mix of energies and ways of being, I came to see that the problem was in fact not me. That it was the relationship that was out of alignment for me. And so it was really interesting how the whole dynamic happened. And I just decided, I came to a point of so much pain. My heart broke because I had been in my relationship grasping so hard. I mean, using so much of my life force energy. If you have an avoidant attachment, you are using so much of your life force energy, your creation energy, your energy that you use to create, manifest, bring forth into your life. You are using so much of your energy to grasp onto love externally outside of you, and most of the time it is not even there. So I had this awareness, my eyes opened from the depth of pain that I was in, deep heartbreak, to have awareness that there is no love here. And it was very, very sad. And that I had done all that I could do. I, in fact, could no longer grasp a second longer. I could not try to prove myself any longer. And I refused. This is something I'm standing in my power now. I refuse to prove myself to someone who decides they want to see me in a different light. That is theirs. I know who I am, and so I, in that moment, just refused, and still now this is the new me. I refuse to prove myself to others. If they want to see me in a certain way, a certain light, let them. I will let them, because I know. Also, I will only be in relationship with people who see me truly, who want to see me as radiant love light. And of course, I am not always those things. I am human. Sometimes I will have pain and things, and so but I'm really grounded and rooted in who I am and my own worthiness for love and my own capacity to give and receive love. And so through this deep pain, I actually consciously let go of anxious attachment, and I was declaring this. So with your intention is very powerful, your words are very powerful, writing things down, very powerful, going into sacred prayer, going into meditation with this intention. I did all of these things. All of these things are very powerful. So I was claiming my sovereignty, claiming coming back to self, being with self, no longer accepting a life of pain, no longer trying to pull for love when it is not there, no longer trying to prove my worth. No, I am rooted in my own worth. And so that's when the first video on this series pops up, where I actually talk about and am witnessing to you my own rapid dissolving of anxious attachment. So if you're interested in that, go back and watch the first video. I believe it was titled I'm Letting Go of Anxious Attachment Part 1, and you can actually see my full journey, go through the process very vulnerably with you here. So it is very beautiful to come to a point where you are ready to let go of anxious attachment, and it is a place of coming into empowerment, and also it is the place for you to finally get what it is you have always wanted, which is love. So that starts with yourself and cultivating love for yourself. And once you have that deep love for yourself, you have instant access to love, which comes only through practice and devotion to love, to continuously aligning your frequency to love by evoking love as an action with your intention. Then you come to a point where you actually can draw in and manifest a reflection of true love, because it's very hard for people who have anxious attachment to hear. It was very hard for me when I heard it before I dissolved my anxious attachment, that actually what we are doing anxiously attached is not really loving. It is a distorted view of love. And I really want to say that with just extreme care, because yes, you love. Yes, you love. Yes, you love. But it is, if you have an extreme anxious attachment, it is distorted. It is distorted because you have no connection to your own love for self, and you are depending on other to give you love. And so this is a distorted form of love. But what is beautiful is that you have the ability to connect to pure love, to connect to your power, to move beyond this learned way of giving and receiving love through this anxious attachment. There is just an infinite amount of possibilities for you and paths for you to be able to finally receive exactly what you want, the depth of love from yourself and from others. So I want you to know that you are powerful, and where your energy goes, where your attention goes, your energy goes. So starting to become aware, where is my attention, and so my energy flowing, okay? And so I am just so happy to be here with you. If you like this video, like, subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I would love to hear from you. Even just tell me how you are today, what is happening in your life. You are beautiful. I am beautiful. Life is beautiful. So yes, thank you for being here with me, and I will connect with you so soon. Thank you.